Hey everyone, it's Joshua Smith here again to bring you another video. So the Grammy Awards were on Sunday, and boy, what a show it was. I just wanted to take some time to talk about, what I personally thought about it, some of the predictions I made regarding the nominees, and just some of the various happenings in the show. So first off, I'm going to start with some of the predictions I made, whether or not they were right, as well as my opinions on the final outcomes. So the first prediction, record of the year, my prediction was Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Last year was definitely Taylor's year with her coming out with 1989, which was and still is a huge success. Not to mention the constant radio play of her hits Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Out of the Woods. Not to mention the production value of this album was amazing, I feel. The winner of this category, however, was Sam Smith for Stay With Me, the Dark Child version. I honestly wasn't too shocked. Seeing as Sam Smith is really big now, and being a new artist always has its perks with the listeners. The second category, Song of the Year, again, my prediction was Shake It Off, for a lot of the same reasons, but again, Sam Smith took this one with Stay With Me. I find it very curious that both the original Stay With Me and the Dark Child version were both nominated separately, even though they're almost exactly the same, minus some extremely subtle differences. I was actually a little surprised with this one. It seemed to be, Shake It Off seemed to be more, of the popular one. In terms of radio, airplay and stuff like that, I've heard both songs about equal amount of times, but Shake It Off seemed to be the more successful of the two choices. Shake It Off was and is an incredibly popular song. Not to mention the single, along with the album, have sold millions and millions of copies, but it is what it is, I suppose, so what are you going to do? The third category was Album of the Year. This was a very pleasant shocker for me. My prediction was Beyonce's self-titled album, Beyonce of course, mainly because of its deep personal narrative, experimental techniques, and its sonically sound production. But the winner of this category happens to be Morning Phase by Beck, and honestly next to 1989, this was the other album I felt had a really good chance of winning. And to tell you the truth, I would have been genuinely upset if Sam Smith had won this category within the Lonely Hour. If you've seen my review of that album, and if you haven't, go check it out. You know exactly how I feel about that album. There's no narrative; it's just a collection of sad songs. There's no story to be told throughout the album. So, Morning Phase was a very good choice for this category. And who better to give it out than my favorite artist, Prince? And I'll talk about that in a bit. The next category is Best New Artist. This category was an easy pick. My prediction, as well as the winner, was Sam Smith. Most of the nominees in this category I didn't even know, besides Sam Smith and Iggy Azalea. But Sam Smith has been at the top all last year and this year, so him not winning would have been like a crime, basically. The next category is Best Pop Vocal Album. This category could have gone either way with a lot of the nominees, and while my prediction was Ed Sheeran's Multiply, because of its diversity and heartfelt nature, the winner of this category once again went to Sam Smith for In the Lonely Hour. So at least he won a Grammy for something album-wise. The next category is Best Rock Album. This one was kind of a given, and both my prediction and the winner are the same for Beck's Morning Phase. The only other contender I felt could have won this one was U2 for Songs of Innocence, but I honestly haven't heard that LP, so I can't give an honest opinion on whether or not it was really a contender. That's just me going by how legendary U2 is as a band, so I can't really say too much for Songs of Innocence there. The next category is Best Rap Song. There were several good contenders here for this one. My prediction was I by Kendrick Lamar, and my prediction was correct. I is simply one of the best rap songs I've heard in a long time, whether it be for Kendrick's smooth flow, its uplifting, encouraging lyrics, or its sampled beat. It's amazing sampled beat. It was definitely prepped to win this category for sure. And compared to some of the other nominees, this one was the obvious choice, I would say. Last but not least is Best Rap Album. The last of my predictions was once again correct with Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP 2. Some might argue that Iggy Azalea's The New Classic was a better choice for this category, but honestly, you can't argue that Eminem has always had a certain charm and effect on listeners. There's no denying that this album isn't his best work, but compared to The New Classic, it was definitely, the better choice. Eminem has always been considered one of the best rappers on the planet, so denying him this win would have been quite an upset, if I do say so myself. Now, when it comes down to the performances that went on during the show, I don't really know if I had a favorite, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be Usher's performance of Stevie Wonder's song If It's Magic, and that's partially because the genius himself came out and played some harmonica, but not for long, only like 5 seconds, and then it was over. The other one would have been John Legend and Common's emotional performance of Glory. I'm not going to lie, a lot of the performances were kind of meh. All the people you expected, huge performances from had relatively small performances. I expected big performances from Kanye West, Katy Perry, Beyonce, but all Kanye did was perform only one in front of a giant flashlight from the floor. Katy Perry and Beyonce both had beautiful performances, but I was a little shocked that Katy would perform "By the Grace of God" of all songs, especially since her last performance at the Grammys was deemed demonic, as she performed her big hit "Dark Horse." And that's another thing. Perhaps they get kind of tired of people pointing fingers at them, calling them demonic, satanic, and filled with Illuminati propaganda. So they performed a Christian song and a gospel song and so on. Madonna, on the other hand, would have fit that satanic label perfectly with her performance, as she had all the dancers adorned with, devil horns and whatnot. Another thing I have to talk about is Prince's short speech on giving out the Album of the Year award. This is what he said before handing out the award, and I quote, "Like books and Black lives, albums still matter." This is truly a powerful statement, because today we're living in a very singles-driven music market. Everyone wants to listen to singles, but not the entire album. People don't realize that artists put out singles before the album so that you'll want to buy the album when it comes out. The singles are meant to get you prepped and excited for the album, but if you don't listen to the album in full, what's the point of even listening to the singles? You're not getting the full experience of what the artist wants the listeners to hear. For the most part, each single has its place on the full LP, but how will we ever know if we don't go out and actually buy their records? Prince still believes in albums being an art form, and that's something that I agree with 100% wholeheartedly. To wrap this up, this Grammy Awards show definitely wasn't the best I've seen. Last year's was amazing, but this one was kind of subpar at best. I know the main point of the show was giving out the awards, but the performances can either hype the show up even more or really kill it. And in this one, it kind of did both. AC/DC opened the show with a powerful performance, but from there, through most of the show, it was mainly slow, dreary ballads. Another thing is the lack of representation from other genres of music. Last year there was tons of representation, including jazz, metal, rap, R&B, soul, rock, country, pop, and so on. But this year it was only like rock, pop, R&B, jazz, and country. Not even any rap representation unless you count Kanye West, Rihanna, and Paul McCartney's performance of 4 or 5 seconds. But that's more R&B, to be honest. And when Kanye, the only rapper to perform in this show, did his performance, he did only one, of course, which of course is more of an R&B-ish type of song. Last year you had like Kendrick Lamar perform with Imagine Dragons and one of the best performances of the night. Last year you had Stevie Wonder, Daft Punk, Pharrell Williams, and Nile Rodgers all perform together, doing a medley of Get Lucky, Le Freak, and Another Star. Nothing really stuck out in the show, honestly. It was just, ballad after ballad after ballad. Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran with Chris Martin, Sam Smith, Usher. Cheek to Cheek performed by Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett was a really good way to break the monotony. And while it wasn't the greatest, it was good to finally see a big detailed performance by someone like Madonna. I wish there was more of what Madonna did, or what Sia did with Chandelier, but there wasn't. When I saw all the people that would be performing on the show, I got really excited. But it turned out that everyone did slow songs with small scale visuals. It seemed like the show peaked right at the very beginning and only went down from there. But that's all I really have to say about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of depressing with how the Grammys went and everything. But still, if you want to, tell me what you thought about the Grammy Awards, what your favorite performances were, maybe what your predictions were, leave a comment down below, and we can, chat it up or whatever. But I hope you enjoyed. Look forward to more reviews and other videos coming soon, and so long.